Hi, John Dwyer here with the final module of our training series. This is module number 12 of the WOW Manifesto Client Attraction Program, and this is the biggie. I've said that before. I think I said that on module 4, module 5, module 8 and 9, but this is even bigger than them, all right? Because what this is all about how to create your marketing plan. So it's fabulous that you've been with me throughout this journey. Gosh, I sound like a preacher, don't I? I sound like Anthony Robbins. It's funny, you know, at my seminars I always quote to people that unlike Anthony Robbins seminars where there's a whole lot of back massaging and hugging and a lot of conga lines and stuff, we don't have any hugging at our conferences and our seminars. Normally I have people volunteer, stupidly by the way, to come up on stage and I give them a hot seat and then I bring their website up on the big screen in front of everyone else in the audience, and I normally criticise it pretty severely. So there is a lot of crying at our seminars, but not for the same reason as Anthony Robbins. Anyway, let me just get on with module number 12, and that's all about creating a marketing plan. Pretty important now that you've seen the other 11 modules of what your marketing plan should contain and how you go about designing a proper website and how you go about having a wow factor, how you go about using social media and so on and so forth. How do you put it into a plan? Well, the very first thing that you need to consider is how much money do I want to devote to this marketing stuff? And I know that it could very well be that you haven't ever put together a marketing budget before. It's quite likely. Again, at a lot of my events I will say to everyone in the room, and it could be 100 business owners in the room, how many of you guys would recognize that marketing and sales is the most important thing in business? Because if you don't make a sale, you've got no business. Well, 100 out of 100 put their hand up. And then I say, okay, well, who's got an accountant? Everyone puts their hand up. Who's got a lawyer? Everyone puts their hand up. Who's got a cleaner that comes into their office maybe once a week? And about 2/3 of the room put their hand up. And I said, well, 30 seconds ago you told me that having sales or marketing skills was the most important thing in business, because without a sale, you know, you've got no business. Who has anyone advising them on marketing or sales? And everyone's there with their arms folded. You could hear a pin drop. Basically, yeah, nobody, hardly anyone, actually has anyone advising them on marketing or sales. And that's why you should give yourself a bit of a pat on the back, because you've chosen to invest in this program, and hopefully you've got a lot of benefit out of it so that you can go off and put together this marketing plan. But if you haven't put together one before, you probably don't know where to start with regards to a budget. And I don't have the magic answer for you, because obviously at this point I'm on the other side of a video camera, so therefore I don't know specifically what your business is. And you know, budgets can be quite different from one industry or one business type to another. But what you might like to do is to say, look, I tell you what, I understand all this stuff, JD. I'm going to give this a shot. I'm going to follow the 11 modules that you've given me, and I'm going to give this a real shot. What we might do is not put together an annual budget. We'll just put together maybe a quarterly budget. So over the next 3 months, we're going to, you know, put aside $6,000, $10,000, $24,000, $50,000, whatever it is that suits, you know, your business. And you say, look, we're going to test and measure throughout this quarter all of the things, or maybe not all of them, but certainly a whole bunch of the things that you've been advocating, JD, and we're going to see which ones work. And when we find out which ones work, we're going to put our foot on the accelerator, and we'll just spend more money on that. So if we find, for argument's sake, that our Instagram campaigns are working better than our direct mail campaigns, or our paper, or our search engine optimization investment, our Google AdWords, or whatever it may be, then we'll put more money into Instagram and we'll just put our foot on that accelerator. So don't be frightened to just consider that you'll suck and see, okay? That you will test and fix, you'll test and measure. But let me just go through the sorts of things that you should consider when you're putting together a marketing plan. Okay, consider your budget, whether it's monthly or quarterly or annually. Obviously be flexible with what I've just said, you know, test and fix mentality. Clearly identify right up front though, when you're putting your marketing plan together, who your most profitable target audience is. And that's the big mistake that I find a lot of businesses make. And that is they go off and decide, oh, we're going to put billboards, and we're going to actually advertise on radio, and we're going to do this pay-per-click advertising on Facebook, and we're going to do these, you know, direct mail campaigns, EDMs, all this sort of stuff. And they haven't yet determined who their most profitable target audience is. I've got to tell you that when I got involved with the Greater Building Society many years ago, the bank that I got Seinfeld to do the, you know, sort of advertising for, I said to them, who's your target audience for your home loans? And they just said, well, anyone that's getting married or has a relationship that wants to build a home or buy a home. And I went, that's a pretty broad audience. And they said, well, what have you got to say about that? Well, aside from me wanting to call them dickheads, okay, which I didn't really feel comfortable doing in that first month, I said to them, who's your most profitable customer? And they went, well, they're all the same profit. Doesn't. And I said, no, what age group? They went, well, there's no difference. A 28-year-old versus a 40. I said, no, yes, there is. You don't want any Gen Y or millennials getting home loans from you. Now, I'm not saying that they didn't, but I was trying to get the message across to shock them. And they said, what do you mean? I said, well, a millennial couple might get a home loan from you, but because they don't have a lot of loyalty, millennials, they're the Groupon generation, okay? Every chance in the world that when they get a home loan from you and they see a cheaper interest rate by 0.1%, they'll jump to another bank. So therefore their loyalty is not as strong as someone who might be 40 plus. And the second thing is they're going to borrow for a little 3-bedroom project home. So they might borrow $250,000 or $350,000. What you want to look for are people who are buying their second or their third or fourth home. They're going to borrow $500,000 or $750,000 or $1 million or $2 million. So for every one of those, you'd have to get 2 or 3 millennial home loans. Then the light bulb came on. They went, wow, of course. I said, so therefore in all your advertising, you want to make sure that you are targeting predominantly the over 40s. And they did, and of course they reaped the rewards for that. That's why we chose Seinfeld to be the spokesperson in the final few years that I was doing the marketing. We chose him rather than Justin Bieber because he appealed predominantly to people over 40 years of age. Now, Seinfeld's loved worldwide by all sorts of ages, I know that, but predominantly, you know, he has a big following of people who knew his show all those years ago, so they're going to be most likely 40 plus. Whereas if you've got Justin Bieber or someone from American Idol to be the, you know, spokesperson for the business, they would actually have a niche audience. It's called message to market match. So please clearly identify who your most profitable target audience is before you start putting together your marketing plan. And you also need to determine what the likely communication channels will be for that target audience. And as I've said to you in 1 or 2 of the other modules as we've gone through this, 12-week program, if you're after seniors who are interested in going on a hosted holiday tour, then chances are you're going to be placing your advertisements in a magazine or newspaper that is bought and digested by seniors. Or you're going to do likewise on the appropriate websites. If you're selling tools that suit a handyman, then chances are you're going to be in the Handyman magazine, or you're going to be taking out a TV ad in the home improvements lifestyle TV program on one of the pay TV networks, or you're going to be taking out advertising or editorial on some home improvement or handyman online websites. So it's all about, again, message to market match. Look for which communication channels your audience will most likely be digesting. Okay. Okay, then you create campaigns where you develop a wow factor, a problem solution scenario, a time or quantity sensitive offer, sales driven website, da. So let me just explain that to you. When you are putting your campaign together, just simply look at the first 11 modules, particularly those that are 2 through to 11 that I've given you in this program. Module number 1, as you know, was all about basically doing this, clearly identifying your most profitable target audience and then looking for more people who look like them. And that's really, really much easier these days, courtesy of lookalike audiences with, Facebook and Instagram. So if you're putting that plan together, it's really simple. You'd have, one column, date, month number 1, month number 2, month number 3. The next column would be media channel, okay? What is the likely media channel? And that would be letterbox brochure, direct mail, it would be Facebook, it would be Instagram, it would be SEO. And then next to that, you would probably have creative, and what are we going to say? In other words, here's the problem solution for each one of those. And the next column, the fourth one, might very well be cost. What are you going to spend on each one of those? Now, as I said, you might kick off where you just do a 2 or 3 month program, and then you have a look at the end of that and go, okay, well, number 1 worked, number 4 worked, number 7 and 9 and 11, they're the ones that we're going to really put our foot on the accelerator with over the next 6 months or 12 months, whatever it might be. So really, I believe that if you're a small to medium-sized business and you haven't done direct response marketing, well, welcome to A pretty exciting future, because, you know, if you now have digested all this stuff that I've given you over this period of time, and you accept that this is just common sense on steroids, this is the way you should be marketing your products, welcome aboard. You know, congratulate yourself, give yourself a pat on the back for stepping from the dark side. If you like. I'm getting a bit melodramatic now, but you know what I mean, okay? Because when someone comes to you and says, oh, would you like to advertise on the side of buses, or would you like to take an ad out on the back of a taxi, you will call them a moron, and you will not do that, okay? Because you know that that would be pissing money up against the wall. You're going to say, no, I've listened to JD, I've gone through this course where he told some pretty lame dad jokes, but I picked up a lot of what he had to say to me, and that was, be very disciplined about identifying my target audience, looking for more people who look like them, and actually communicating with them through the most likely channels that they digest. And what we're going to do, so that we don't blow the budget, we're going to test and measure, or test and fix, call it what you like. Now, the other thing I wanted to highlight to you is, that's about it, sorry, I thought, oh no, I do have another one. Continue to measure and review regularly. I'm sounding like a school teacher now, I'm pointing to the blackboard, aren't I? Continue to measure and review regularly, otherwise you'll be kept in after school, making appropriate adjustments along the way. Well, that's basically what I've been saying, test and fix, okay? Because despite my modules 2 to 11 that you've seen before this one, giving you hopefully gold in terms of the sort of tactics and strategies that you should be using across a whole lot of platforms, I don't have any control over the variables that are happening in your industry or just in the marketplace. I don't. So, for example, in the Greater Building Society instance, where I had a lot of home runs, the get a home loan, get a free vacation promotion just went nuts, went crazy. I mean, it basically doubled their home loans within 3 months and tripled them within 18 months. We're talking billions of dollars, not millions. Wish I had done a door deal, percentage deal with them. So then when we put Seinfeld as the spokesperson on top of that, it just went crazy again. Now, you know, I take a lot of credit for that, and you know, you would too if you designed those programs and it had gone nuts. But if the Reserve Bank had put the interest rates for home loans up to 20% throughout that period, it wouldn't have mattered if I had the Pope, you know, basically endorsing the Greater Building Society. It probably wouldn't have been as successful, because market forces came into play. So when people say to me, oh, well, you sound like you're pretty confident about this direct response stuff. If you're so confident, can you guarantee that you can double my turnover? And I go, no, I can't. Because, I don't know, you might have just got out of jail, okay? Or you might have an awful product. Or something out there in the marketplace, which is a variable, might just come and smack both of us in the face. So I can't guarantee it, but what I can say to you, and I think this would be something that you'd agree with at this point, module number 12, that if you actually follow the steps, if you join the dots of this stuff that I've given you, there's a pretty strong possibility, a pretty strong probability, I should say, that you're going to find it to be successful, that you're going to sell more products or services. It's just, you know, common sense. And so therefore, whilst I can never guarantee that your sales are going to go up by 20 or 30 or 50 or 150%, there's a pretty good chance, if you follow the mantra that I've given you in this training program, that you're going to find a good degree of success out of it. Now, whether that means your sales go up by 20 or 50 or 150%, there's a lot of variables that I have no control over that might have some sort of influence on that. Now, this one here is really important before I finish. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I am just amazed with American Express, very big brand name. Many, many years ago, they had a movie star who's passed on now, but his name was Carl Malden, I think, M-A-L-D-E-R, anyway, Carl Malden, I think it was. And he was a TV star in a detective series and all this sort of thing. I think it was San Francisco Streets or something like that. Anyway, he was, they did with him what I did with Seinfeld with the Greater Building Society. He became the spokesman for the business. And at the end of the ad, he used a tagline, American Express, as the American Express card, don't leave home. Can you finish that? If you're anywhere near my vintage, I'm sure you can. Don't leave home without it. Now, that was a big, 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 big campaign, okay? And it had been going for many, many years. What happened is that when American Express decided to change advertising agencies, the new advertising agency that came in decided that that creative was old hat, and they would just create a new creative angle for the business. Well, guess what? That was stupid, because the other one wasn't broken. Okay, now in Australia, a new CEO came on board and took over the Qantas took over the Qantas, head honcho position. And I don't know whether it was his decision or someone else's, but surprise, surprise, the iconic theme of Qantas's advertising was an Australian song called I Still Call Australia Home, which was written and performed by Peter Allen many, many years earlier. And this is just an iconic song. It's one of those songs that if you're overseas and you're an Australian and they play this in a bar and you've had a few drinks, probably tears will come to your eyes. I still call Australia home, okay? Guess what? They just threw it out the window. Now, I don't know the background of it, but I can absolutely assure you that that was a knee-jerk reaction that hadn't been given enough consideration. It was a campaign that they used on television and online. I still call Australia home. This tear-jerker song that just made you sit up and listen whenever you saw it, because a new ad agency presumably came in and new management came in. They thought, well, we're going to show our style. We're just going to throw the old stuff out. There's no need to throw it out if it's not broken. So if you snag something that's really working, stick with it until it starts to crack and then replace it. But if it ain't broke, then don't fix it. The greatest thing about Facebook and Instagram and any social media communications is, guess what? You can fix them instantly. You can change them instantly. That's the great thing. Remember in the old days, if you actually took an ad out in a magazine, well, it's there forever, okay? You can't change it. The great thing with Instagram and Facebook and really anything online is that you can get in and change your ad this afternoon. And bang, it can be instantly out to your target audience with the new change within minutes, within hours. So I think you should look upon the learnings that you've got from this program with a lot of excitement, because the great thing is, in the online world that we live in, the stuff that I'm teaching you is a very, very good ground base for you creating a powerful marketing plan. But if, God forbid, one thing or another just doesn't work, guess what? You can change it instantly. And that's something which, in previous generations you couldn't do. That's about it. Look, I just want to say thank you very, very much for investing in our client attraction program. If you found this to be very helpful for you in putting together marketing campaigns for your business and a marketing plan overall for your business, please tell any business owners that you know of about the program so that they might get the same benefit. If you didn't find it to be beneficial, then don't talk to anyone, okay? Please just keep that to yourself, okay? Do not mention anything to anyone and pretend that I never existed. But all jokes aside, thank you very much for investing in this. I know being on this side of the camera and being, if you like, a marketing coach, I understand the skepticism that a lot of people have in business about seminar speakers and, so-called gurus. And hopefully you've taken the jump to be part of this program. Hopefully you found this to be anything but the normal seminar spiel. I go out of my way to highlight to people when I'm holding events that we are not like many of the other seminars who are one-trick ponies. They might be good at Facebook, or they might be good at building a website, or they might be good at PR. We take great pride in the fact that we're like a circus tent. We have all of those skills in the one environment, and I think that's why we've been reasonably successful. We're able to help people put together campaigns offline and online, no matter whether they happen to be products, services, blue singlet, white collar. We're able to provide them with what I call a holistic, marketing environment. So if you know of any other business owners that you would like to sort of recommend our program to, thank you very much if you were to tell them about it. And thank you for being part of this program. We really think that it is unique, and I hope that you take the learnings from this and really benefit from them by actually stimulating sales for your business. Thank you very much for being involved. Hopefully talk to you soon.